What's up, guys? Jason Guyman here tonight, and I'm going to talk about how you can get to $100,000 in your first year of Christmas light season. Yep, I'm going to be able to teach you how to do this in 2025 of what are you going to need to do to be able to get there. Or if you want to do more than that, you can, but I'm going to show you the step-by-step process of what you need to do, what you need to work on, and how you can get there in 2025. And so with that, I have just got back from San Diego. I had a great time in San Diego. We did a lot of different things in there, and I went to social media marketing world, and I learned so much about social media, right? Because one of the things that I learned this week is what are the things that are going to make or break your business, right? What are the things that are going to grow your business in 2025? And so it was great to see some of the speakers there. Marcus Sheridan, who I recommend him a whole bunch. He has the book, You Ask, They Answer. You should read that book if you haven't read it. And he's actually got a new book coming out in 2020. In 3 weeks, he's got a new book that is coming out that I would highly recommend you to read it also. So that is definitely a book that is a great book. You should read They Ask, You Answer, and you should also read his new book, which is coming out here shortly. So I believe he said it's in 3 weeks. But we heard from some great speakers this week. I met one of my, there was one of the guys that are in membership, Reynold, he was there, Reynold Garcia was there. He actually bought his ticket for next year. He's like, this was freaking amazing. He's like, I learned so much this 3 days. And so when you get into a room and sit with a bunch of like-minded people, there's a lot of great things that you will learn and you will be able to grow your business. And so it is one of the things that I highly recommend people to do, and that is important of what you do to be able to grow your business. And so we learned a lot about AI. I learned about what's going to get going in 2025. I learned a lot about, video is probably going to be king. We've always said content, but with AI, it's kind of getting watered down. And so video is going to be king, and real video of you is going to be king even more, because there is so much AI stuff now. There is so much things that you can do with AI that, some of that is where you're at with that. So that is what I did this weekend. I actually got on a plane last night at 10 o'clock, left San Diego, flew all night, got to Detroit, sat there for 3 hours in Detroit last night, and then I came home, and then I took a nap, and now I'm up here helping you guys get to your business, right? How can we get you to $100,000? How can I get you, like Daniel, to $179,000 his very first year? In his second year, he did over $200,000 or $500,000 in Christmas lights. And so I'm going to walk through the steps that I have coached Daniel through, and I have coached Sam through, that he did $250,000 his very first year doing Christmas lights. Now, will everybody do $250,000 in Christmas lights? No. Will everybody do $100,000 in Christmas lights? No, you won't. But I'm going to give you the steps that if you are willing to take action and make it happen and do the work, you can do it. It's not easy. I never said it's easy. If someone sells you it's easy, they're literally lying to you. So these are the things that I want to help you grow your business in 2025. And so that is what I've done. I don't know if anybody's commenting. I'm not seeing no comments here, but if you are, how are you all doing? That's where we're going to get started at. So the very first thing is let's see here. I'm going to present this over here because I did do a PowerPoint for you all, so that way you all can see it a little bit better than just me being a talking head. So the very first thing is like I said, that's not what I wanted. Vappy is a pretty cool tool that I'll be talking about later. Actually, let's talk about Vapey. We'll just go down I'll talk about Vapey here coming up here of how we can use Vapey to answer your phone. Ways that you'll be able to answer your phone in 2025 without you answering the phone. And so I'll walk through a demo of it and how you can do this also. So I brought it up. I wasn't going to show you all, but it's a pretty cool tool that I think that you guys will like a lot and that you can learn from it a lot and what you'll be able to do with that. I'm going crazy here. All right. So why is my computer going crazy? So let's talk about why we're going to do it now, right? Why are we talking about this in April, right? Because if we want to plan for success, we got to start now. It's not about waiting till October and be like, man, I want to start a Christmas light business. And you can do that, but your success is not going to be very good. You know, like I was saying about Daniel did $179,000 his very first year, and he started in June, right? So you could get a start even before that, and he started in June to do his Christmas light business. And so with that, these are things that we can do to help you grow your business. And so some of the things that you got to look at is how did he get there? Why am I keep showing all these other screens that I don't want to show? How did we get there? How did he get there? Well, he got there by working from 7 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the morning. And he would literally work all day. Now, Daniel was one that he had him and one other guy, which was an installer. Daniel he got on 1 or 2 roofs his whole time of hanging Christmas lights. So a lot of times people get in this business and they're like, I've got to go do the Christmas lights. I got to hang them. I got to do it all. I got to figure all this out. And that's not the case, right? If you know how to start selling the magic and not selling the bulb, you will do so much better in the end. And so that's what I taught Daniel. That's what Daniel took back and learned is sell the magic and quit selling the stupid stuff, right? And so that's how he was able to do $179,000 his very first year. And so that is very cool of how he did it. Now, so what are some things that we need to do? Well, if you haven't done this yet, you need to go ahead and set up an LLC for your business and go ahead and get your Google My Business and all of your proper paperwork. So when Christmas light season comes, you will have all of this information ready to go. You can set up your Google My Business. You can do your YouTube page. What? I got to do a YouTube page, Jason? You never told me I had to do a YouTube page. Well, these are all things that's going to help our Google My Business get through. We're going to set up our website so that way our Google My Business will go through a lot easier. You know, in the past, I used to tell you to go get the Google My Business, and you could go to the Google My Business, fill out the paperwork on Google My Business, and voila, there it was. They sent you a thing in the mail. It was a code. You put the code in, and you had your Google My Business. It don't work that way. They still send the code to you, but it's probably going to get rejected. As soon as you click it in there, it's going to say suspended right away because that's how Google My Business works. And so now you need to have your website set up. Now you need to have your citations, your LinkedIn, your Facebook page, your LinkedIn page, your Yext, your all of these different signals saying, hey, Google, this is a legit business. And so this is how we are going to be able to do that. And then the next thing is we need to focus on where do we need to do our marketing, right? Where is our marketing? Now, for Cincinnati, I don't know why this is keep being retarded, but it is. So Cincinnati, it's about a $350,000 home plus. Now, where you live might be 350 might be the dump. So you might have to go up to $750 million. So how do I find that stuff? Well, we can get online here. We can go here to a couple things. I'll show you a new tool here that's pretty cool that if you haven't used it, it's called Perplexity AI. It works a lot like Google, but 10 times better. And you can, if you pay for the pro, you can do deep research. If you don't do deep research, you can turn it off, you can turn it on, whatever you want to do. And I can say, find me the homes in the greater Cincinnati area that would be people that would want Christmas lights installed on their home. It's probably the middle to upper class people in this area. And then I just click search, and then it's going to do some deep research. And so it's going to start going through all these different websites to try to find what it is. So you can see it's going to take up to 30 minutes. It's going to take some time. So it's going to do a lot of deep research. You can use the free version of Perplexity. It works very well. It's going to go and find all of the neighborhoods, right? It's going to find all of these different sources to tell you where it is. Now, there's another tool. While we let that tool go do its thing here, if it will allow me to work. Sometimes Perplexity takes a lot of muscle, and it doesn't always let you do other things. It takes a lot of brain work, but you can go to the EDDM tool, if I can spell, EDDM tool, and you will see that the post office has a nice little tool here that you can see here. It's the Every Door Direct Mail tool. And so you click on it, you can put your addresses in it, and it's going to tell you where everything is. It's going to tell you where the high-end customers are. So it's got me a map here. You can put the zip code in, you can put whatever the state, and it's going to tell us where it is. So I know some of my high-end areas, so I'm going to tell it Mason, Ohio. And I'm going to hit search, and now it's going to give me the mail routes that are the high-end customers. So this is a way that I can start looking at, hey, this is where I'm at. Now, if you did Christmas lights last year, one of the things you can do is go take the data and put it on a map and see where everybody is, because you're going to find clusters of those people that are probably just like other customers that you need to be targeting those areas. So, I was in the greater Cincinnati area, which is this whole area. I didn't target down in here, right? I didn't target down in the Cincinnati because there's nobody down here. There's a little hole right here that's called, I can't think what it's called, but it's very small. And then I got Madonna, I've got Montgomery. These are all my high-end areas. So what I can do is I can just start going over here, and it's going to tell me that their income right here, if you look at the income where it says income, their average income is $121,000. That's probably my customer, right? Their income here is $79,000. People paying $1,000 and they're making less than $100,000 is probably not your customer. You need to find customers that are paying over, that are making over $150,000 a year, because $1,000 of this is a pretty high percentage of what their paycheck is. So that's why we want to find the people that are in the $100,000 or the higher end areas, right? That's what we're looking for. We want to find those people. We don't want to be in the $45,000 income, right? I'm not going to send a mailer to these people here that are in the $45,000 income. And so this is where I'm going to start looking at of where do I need to be at for my customers, because I need to find people that are going to pay and are willing to pay. So that is one of the tools you can use. Another tool that you can use, this has kind of gotten janky. It's called the Justice Map, but they've changed it on me. There's still a map on here that you can find it, but this is a map that you can use. It's called the Justice Map. It's not working now. It used to work, but now it's not. I'm sure I can probably figure it out, but the Justice Map would tell you also where these people are. So I'm going to go back over here to Perplexity, and you can see here that it found 28 sources, right? It found 28 sources of what it's looking like. So the premier luxury communities is Indian Hill. I could have told you that. Indian Hill was the number 8th in the country at one time, and there's a lot of poor people there. If you want to call poor, they're not. They're super rich, right? And so you can see now the long code. It's actually given me subdivisions. It's actually given me communities. So Perplexity is not just giving me Mason, right? Because I did Mason earlier, and Mason, you can see that there was just there was no good pockets in there. This is actually giving me the communities within there, right? Hyde Park is the one I was thinking about. The median home price is $500,000, right? That's the average home price is $500,000 in Cincinnati, which is high. And so this is a Mount Lookout's another one. So you can see Mount Adams, California. So over the Rhine, this is not the, once neglected, but now it's kind of becoming high end. Kenwood. All of these are places that I want to hit. These would be the places that I want to hit. And so with Perplexity, you can add more cities and do more. And so Perplexity is a good AI tool. If you haven't used AI for search and stuff, you can use the free version. The free version does very well also. So Perplexity is my AI tool of the week. So if you haven't used Perplexity, I'd highly recommend you to use Perplexity because it's able to find a lot of the information that you can go out there and use Perplexity. So that's what you can do is use Perplexity. I don't know why it keeps showing this other page here, but it is. So begin commercial outreach, right? If you want to get to $100,000, you got to start now of doing this. Daniel just closed a $60,000 job, a very high-end job, by finding the commercial work, right? He's finding commercial work. He's calling people. He's texting people. He's messaging people. He's going and knocking on doors of these commercial people and saying, hey, do you need this? David Hamill was talking that he went and he did what I told him, right? He actually listened to what I said. And he does $2 million a year. He don't need to listen to what I have to say, but he did. And you know what he did? He went and started making a list of all the places that have Christmas lights on the commercial building. But he just didn't write them down there. He went and knocked on their door, and he closed like 20 jobs by knocking on those commercial doors that knew that they had commercial lighting. And so that's what I'm trying to get at is there's other ways that we can do work right now of getting our commercial work for this here. So marketing, right? What are we going to do for marketing? Start ordering signs in July. Are we going to start putting signs out in July? I would start maybe putting them out in October and November. I would be putting out probably 50 in October, I'd put 50 out in August. I'd probably put out in September, I'd probably put out 100, maybe 200. And then October, I'd be putting out 100 a week. In November, I'd be putting out 100 a week or more. Right? And so these are things that we want to do to make sure that we are ready to go and we're not waiting on the system of, Jason, I can't make money in Christmas light business. You just don't understand, Jason. I do understand. I understand it takes work to be able to get this done. This isn't something that's just going to happen overnight. It's something that you got to put the work in. You got to order the signs. If you're going to do door hangers, you got to order those door hangers. Go ahead and get them designed, because if you just kind of pull it out of your butt right in November and say, I want to do door hangers, well, that's not going to work. I'm going to put something else on here is knocking doors, right? I'm having a class next weekend. If you're not planning on coming, you're losing out. ChristmasLights.io/Cincy25. We're going to have someone come and teach you how to get door knocking. We're going to teach you how to do door knocking. We're going to teach you how to do the steps. I'm going to teach you how to hang Christmas lights. I'm going to teach you how to do marketing. I'm going to teach you how to do these things so that you can get to your $100,000. I've had several people come to my class and get $100,000 their very first year. I always tell people, I used to tell people you could get anywhere from about $30,000 to $50,000. And you might think, Jason, you're crazy. Well, you're not the only person that's told me I'm crazy. Jeremy Main, the guy that started a pressure washing business, he was a garbage man. He was throwing garbage in the back of a garbage truck. He was the guy on the road throwing the garbage in there, right? And he came to one of my first Christmas light classes in 2020. And so 2019, 2020. And he came there and I told him, I was like, Jeremy, if you do what I say, you'll make $30,000 to $50,000 your first year. He was just starting his pressure washing business. He just quit his job. And he told Jennifer when they were leaving, Jason is crazy. There's no way we can do $30,000 in this business. Well, guess what? He did 32,000 his first year. Guess what? Last year he did over $500,000 in Christmas lights, and his business as a whole did over $1 million in pressure washing and Christmas lights. Now, does that get there by doing nothing? No, it takes work. It's called, you got to do the things that you need to do to make this happen. You got to be able to create a pricing structure, and don't create a pricing structure off your competition, because your competition sucks. And when you bid like you suck. And so you can tell me all you want that, Jason, you just can't get that in my area. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Daniel he did $179,000 2 years ago. This last year he did over $500,000. You know what? There is people in his area charging $4 to $6 a foot. He charges $10 to $12 a foot. You got Paul Gardner in that area. He's charging $10 to $14 a foot. You got Red Door in that area. They're charging $10 to $14 a foot. But yet there's people in that area that will tell me, Jason, it is saturated. You just can't get that in my market. There's these people out there doing $6 a foot. Who cares what they're doing? Who cares what they're doing? Are you selling the bulb or are you selling the magic? Because when you start selling the bulb, you're going to get the $6 a foot. When you start selling the magic, when you start selling emotion, when you start doing things different, right? One of the things I learned this weekend at Social Media Marketing World is, are you doing things like everybody else, or are you doing things different? Are you going out there and being different? Are you doing things that are crazy? Are you doing things that stop the scroll? Because video is coming. Video is coming. If you don't know it, video is coming. Are you doing the exact same thing as everybody else? Or are you doing things to stop the scroll that people are like, I want that on my house, right? Are you doing the things of like Tristan, where he did a video where they or doing their thing, and all of a sudden it's just magic, and the little kids just so excited, and they turn on the lights, and it's just so heartfelt. And guess what? You can't put a freaking price on that. You can't put it's worth way more than $6 a foot. Now, you guys that want to worry about, we're putting the lights on the peak, and we're making sure all this stuff, and we use blah blah blah. Well, good luck is all I got to tell you, right? Start selling the magic. The magic is what gets here. You know, the guy that's going to be teaching this class, ChristmasLights.io/Cincy25, he did 389 jobs last year. 389 jobs. And guess what? He's at $8 a foot. $7.50 to $8 a foot is his average right now. Now, and he's in Idaho. And if you're in Idaho, you know, I've been told everybody you can't get no more than $4 a foot. There was a girl in our room that had 2 locations, and they was not for-profit business. They were supposed to be for-profit business, but they're literally were doing it for $2 a foot. And Eric, is 2 hours away doing it for $8 a foot. And he got 389 clients. 389 clients. Now think about that. 389 clients and doing that. And so these are the things that what sets you apart from your competitors. You can sell the bulb for $2 a foot, $4 a foot, $6 a foot, or you can start selling the magic at $8 a foot. And if you don't think you can get it, start believing in yourself. Because if you don't believe that you can get $8 a foot, if you don't believe that you can get $10 a foot, you won't get it. I promise you, you will not get $8, $10, $12, $14 a foot if you don't believe that you're worth that. If you don't believe and see the value of what you're giving this customer is worth that. Because if you don't believe it, they're not going to believe it. They can see right through you. You know, the reason why I always talk about the book Think and Grow Rich is because if you don't believe it, it ain't going to come to pass. It ain't going to happen. So you got to start thinking about it. You got to start believing it. You got to start growing your business, right? Start believing that you can hit $100,000. Because if you don't believe you can hit $100,000, you won't hit $100,000. You won't hit $500,000 if you don't believe you can do it. And so what are you doing to start believing that you're able to grow this business, right? These are all things that we have to look at. I guess they just want me to show you Vapey today, I guess. So Creating pricing structure. Again, this is very important. If you don't know how to create it, start at $8 to $10 a foot. Start at $50 a strand, $30 to $50 a strand. Is there people out there going to tell you to do it for $25? Here's the thing. I sell Christmas lights, right? Go buy Christmas lights at christmaslights.io. Do I want you to sell it at $6 a foot? Hell yes, I want you to sell it at $6 a foot. You know why? Because I can sell more of it. But do you hear me telling you to do that? No, I want you to be successful. I want you to be successful because at $6 a foot, I see a lot of people come in this business and they go right back out. Yes, they buy $10,000 worth of lights. Yes, they'll buy $20,000 worth of lights. But I don't want them to go, then that's all they'll buy from me. I would rather you charge $12 a foot and buy hundreds of thousands of dollars of lights from me. That's what I would rather you do. And there's not a lot of people teaching that, right? Because a lot of these people are teaching you to go cheap so they can sell more product. I don't want you to go cheap. I want you to be in business. I want you to stay in business. This is a very dangerous job, right? You fall off the roof. If you have an employee fall off the roof and you don't have the right insurance and you didn't do the right things because it's too expensive, because you don't know how to charge, that's what's going to happen to you, right? That's what's going to happen to you. So that's why it's important that we make sure that we are charging the right amount and the right pricing stuff. So start now is what I'm going to say, right? If you got customers from last year, we're going to do Christmas in July. We're going to start talking about Christmas in July. We're going to start wearing our Christmas stuff. We're going to stand out. When you wear Christmas stuff like now, you stand out. And you got one or two people. You got people that are going to come up and love on you and hug on you and say, I love Christmas. Or you're going to have haters and say, I hate Christmas. How do I know? Because I just had it happen. When I had a class last month, we and DJ went and had our Christmas lights stuff on, and the lady's like, I can't believe you got Christmas on. It ain't Christmas. Christmas sucks, and blah, blah, blah. And then you'll have this other people that are like, I love Christmas. And guess what? Those are our customers. I love Christmas too, because I know what it pays me and I know what it pays you. And that's why I love Christmas. Right now, this says start purchasing. You don't have to get your 50% deposits down, and then that way you can buy your lights with your 50% deposits. Now, what I will tell you is don't say, I need 50% deposit to go buy lights. No, that's not the part of the business. They don't need to know that you're going to buy lights. We're going to pay 50% up front so that way we can get you on the schedule to make sure that we got you all scheduled and ready to go. We're not talking about buying lights. That's the dumbest thing we can do of what's going to screw you later on. So in August, deploy your first 100 signs, right? And you can start doing Google ads. Now, Google ads is a little bit more expensive. If you're going to do it, Google ads can work. It works in certain areas. Some areas don't. You can use Google My Business, you can use Facebook ads, contact previous thing, and this here begin weekly posting is what we need to do now. Start weekly posting now for our Google My Business. Don't wait till August. Start now. Start posting our pictures from last year now. And here's the thing. There's a lot of things that I'll show you some stuff that's pretty cool. Also, I'm going to show you everything today. I don't know. I just feel like I'm in the mood of showing you stuff. I'm going to show you a neat tool that just came out of what you can do and how you can make neat pictures. So you can't tell me, Jason, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. I'm giving you tools, right? I showed you Perplexity. I'll show you another tool that's amazing that's going to answer your phone. I'm going to show you another tool that's going to help you grow your business. I want to help you grow your business. That's what I want you to do. I want you to be where you need to be at. I want you to have financial freedom. I want you to make $500,000. And you might not believe that you can make $500,000, but I believe you can make $500,000 if you put your mind to it. But if you don't believe it, you'll never get there, right? And so these are things that we can start doing to make this happen. Again, October, we're going to deploy another 400 signs. November, another 400 signs. So yes, we're putting out 1,000 yard signs. I would almost go out on the limb, and I would say if you put out 1,000 yard signs, it would make you $100,000. And here's the thing, 1,000 yard signs only costs $3,500, $3,000, $3,500, right? It'll make you that kind of money. If you put out 1,000 yard signs, it'll make you $100,000. I knew a guy that put out 25 yard signs, and it made him $125,000. So don't tell me you can't do it. The only reason why you can't do it is because you don't believe you can do it. And that's the problem, right? That's the problem. Now, here's the thing. Is there times that you might have to travel a little bit further if you live out in the country? And the answer is yes. There might be times you might have to travel. I had to travel, right? My location where I live versus where I installed lights was an hour away, 45 minutes, because I'm on the south side of Cincinnati, and I had to drive to the north side of Cincinnati because that's where the people had the most money. And that's where I drove to get that. And so is there times you might have to drive, or you might have to move to a location where you can? Absolutely. But here's the thing. I'm not telling you to do it cheap, because cheap customers are your worst customers out there. If someone's paying $1,000 and they only make $50,000 a year, that's a lot of money for them, right? That's a lot of money for them. And so that's not the customer that we want. We want the customers. And here's the thing. I've got clients that are doing $2,500 average tickets, $3,000 average tickets, right? And that's the awesome thing about this. That's the awesome thing about what Christmas lights can do for you in your business. And so that is some things that you want to start looking at and how we can do this. All right, let me pull up this cool little tool here called Vappy. Now, this tool here is a tool that it does take a little bit of work. I'm not telling you to go do this or anything. I'm just telling you that it's a cool tool that I'm going to show you how you can answer phone calls and without you answering the phone call. You know, because I know some of you won't answer the freaking phone. And if you did answer the phone, you don't know how to answer the phone. So I'm going to show you one for my Christmas lights. So I have one that is for my permanent lights. My permanent lights is what I have. If you don't know, you can go check out the website, inspiringnights.com. Inspiringnights.com is what it's called. So I'm going to show you one of my assistants here for this, for here, and hopefully it'll work for me. Let me pull it up here. See. I don't know why it keeps showing everything that I don't want it to show. Good thing I don't have nothing on there. So this is my model here, and I'm going to walk through here, and hopefully you can hear it with it. Allow this time. So.
Thank you for contacting Inspiring Nights. This is Holly. How can I help brighten your home or business today?
I need to see about getting a price for permanent lights.
I'd be happy to help you get a quote for your permanent lighting project. I just need to collect a few details from you. Could you tell me a bit more about what you're envisioning for your lighting needs?
Yeah, so I like those lights that look like Christmas lights underneath the soffits, and I want to see about getting a price. I have a one-story house.
Those permanent Christmas lights are a wonderful choice for adding festive cheer year-round. Let's get started on arranging a quote for you. Could I get your first and last name, please?
Jason Smith.
Thank you, Jason. Let me make sure I got that right. Jasonsmith. Is that correct?
Did you say THSMITH?
I apologize for the confusion. Let's try that again. JSONSMITH. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Great, Jason. Could I get the address where you'd like the permanent lighting installed?
123 Main Street.
Thank you. Could you please provide the zip code for that address?
12345.
Thank you. So that's 123 Main Street, zip code 12345. Have I got that right?
That is correct.
Perfect. Could I get your email address and the best phone number to reach you for the quote details and any follow-up questions?
Yeah, so johnsmith@gmail.com.
Just to confirm I've got that right, is it johnsmith@gmail.com?
That is correct.
Great. And your phone number, please?
543-123-45678.
Thank you. So your phone number is 543-123-45678. Is that correct?
Yep.
I'd like to get you a detailed quote for your lighting project. We can schedule a time for one of our lighting designers to assess your property and provide a customized plan. What days, times?
So you can see how an AI assistant can work better than some of you all on the phone. And how do I know that? Because I've heard those phone calls. And so it is definitely something that we can do and it can work. And so I just wanted to show you how this can work for you, and it's getting better and better. There's another one out there that is even better than that. Now, I was going to show you one more thing because I told you I would show you another thing here of another tool. So I'm going to give you 3 tools. I'm giving you way more than you asked for tonight. So hopefully you learn something and take action with it, right? So we can go to ChatGPT, and I'm going to start a new chat, right? So we'll start a new chat. Maybe. Let's see if it's going to allow me to. Usually when I'm using this stuff, sometimes it goes work. So I can create an image. So if you are on the, just got better, a little bit accurate, more detailed. I know. So one of the things is you do have to be on the plus. So you do have to be on the $20 a month plan. So if you're not on the $20 a month plan, this will not work. So this has to be on the $20 a month plan. So I'm going to show you something of what we can do to make this work for you to do this. Now, I'm going to actually take this even a step further. So let's go find a house. Let's go find a house that we can find a house. And I'm going to see how this is. I'm going to walk it through here of what we can do to show you how you can do something here. So that way you can be able to, let me zoom out here a little bit. I'm gonna go up here to my Cincinnati homes where my people are that I want to be able to do this. So this is something that if you know the address, we can go in here and we can go down here. I'll just go into one of these houses here. These probably are not my customer, but that's okay. I don't need ATMs. So we're going to zoom in down here. We're going to find one of these houses here. And we are going to get a picture of it, right? So this is how we can quote a job right here. Sometimes people always ask me how we can quote a job. Obviously, those aren't giving me what I want. Not giving me Street View. Let me go over here into Villa Hills. See if I get Street View over here. That's why I'm not getting Street View, because I don't have the little guy there. So we're going to go right here. We're going to go right here to this little bitty house here, this little house here that's section 8 right here. We'll go to this house here that's built in 8 different sections, is what we'll do, maybe, if we can see. So let me back up here. I'm on the struggle bus today. Sorry about that. I don't know why things ain't working. Wait. So I want to show you how this can work and how this can work for you for different things. If it don't work this way, I'm going to do a different way of doing something else, of making this work for you, right? So we're going to go back here and let me see here. I'm going to find me a picture. Let me find me a picture. I'm going to find me a picture here. I'm going to use my buddy who is helping me do this class. And so this is what you can do with ChatGPT now, if I can find where I did with it. So ChatGPT, and I know I got ADD because I got 5,700 different things opened up. So sorry about that. So I'm going to pull this over here and I'm going to put a picture in there. So it's just a picture of him in there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it what I want on there, right? So we're going to tell it what we want on this picture here. So if you have a picture of you, if not, we're going to change this picture, right? It's a picture of him with a Christmas hat on. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me see if I can zoom in here or not. but it's basically got a Christmas hat on it and some lights around his neck. And I'm just going to tell it what I want it to do. I'm going to be like, make him look like the Grinch. And that's all I did, right? So it's got this picture here, and you're going to see what it's going to be able to do. It's going to turn him into something completely different. This is the $20 one, and you can even do, I wanted to do a picture of a house, and I did some pictures of saying, hey, take this picture and put lights on this house, and it'll put the lights on the house and make it look really good and tell it to darken it down a little bit. And so this is a great tool that doesn't cost you, it costs you $20 a month. It costs you 2 meals a month that you might not be able to go out to eat, but it can help you out so much with the pictures, right? And so it's doing its thing. It takes some time. I know it takes time, but you'll be able to see how I will be able to change this photo and make it different things of what it is. And being that this one is so slow, I may have to go over here. And I made so this was my original thumbnail right here. This was my original thumbnail for last week. And I said, and it made my teeth look a little goofy, right? But it literally put the smiley face up there. It made this. It did it all on its own, right? It made me excited about this, right? And so you can give it different characters of what you want it to do and how you can do this. And I was like, okay, that's a little creepy there. So I said, make my mouth don't make my mouth so big. So then it closed my lips, right? And so you can see how this tool could help you do different things with your marketing, right? I don't want to hear that, oh, Jason, you can't do this, you can't do that. Now, I want to take this a step further, and you can change whatever out on it. I didn't want to close it out, daggone it. ChatGPT. And yes, I use DeepSeek. I use them all. I'm not to one. I use them all. I use everything. And then there's another thing we can use is called Sora. So Sora is another thing that we can do that will bring these images alive. So if you've got an image that we want to bring alive, then we can bring this image alive it can make it look like it is moving or different things, right? And so that's how we are able to do these different things. So I just wanted to show you some things of what we can do to have fun with this and how we can do this to be able to make this happen, right? I wanted to show you how we can make an image into a real life thing here. So I'm doing this on the fly, so I'm not going to guarantee anything here. I wish this thing would not keep going to other things that it's supposed to. Now I don't know where Sora. So right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull an image down here. Maybe. Let me get an image here. And I'm going to put an image in down here. I don't want that. So describe your image. So I'm going to put an image. Let's see. Images. New. And you can turn these things into real life thing, which is a little creepy. I understand that. It is a little creepy what you can do with it. So if not, there's another tool that can do this too, which is Runway, which will also make these images come alive, right? It can make these images come alive. And so this is how you're able to do all of this marketing stuff and not be a genius, right? It's gotten so easy that you can do this stuff and make this happen. And so, here's my Grinch request. Let's see if it finished it up here. So look, it made him look like a Grinch. It turned his face into a green thing instead of the other way, right? All I did is say, make it a Grinch, right? I didn't say nothing else. I just said, make it a Grinch. And you can see how this is possible in 2025. And the other good thing about it is the words actually work now. It doesn't, in the past, Dolly sucked at the words, but the words are pretty much good. Now you still have 5 fingers instead of 10, 20, sometimes 30. Who knows what ChatGPT would do to you. but you can see how much we can do in 2025 of doing the different things of marketing, right? Because I don't want your excuses. Your excuses of, Jason, you just don't understand. I can't do that. I'm not good at computers. That's an excuse. I don't want to hear excuses. Excuses gets us nowhere, right? Excuses is not going to get your business to $100,000 in Christmas lights. It's going to make an excuse for you that you won't get there. And so I don't want to hear that you can't make this or you can't make that. Yes, you can. It's amazing what you can do in 2025, and it's getting creepier and creepier. The AIs, there's agents, there's all kinds of things that is just nuts what we can do with our marketing and how we can do this. So if you want to learn more about this stuff, again, christmaslights.io/IPT in-person training is one way to get there. And this weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend, I'm going to teach you how to hang Christmas lights. I'm going to teach you how to do marketing on Friday. And then my friend Eric Beck is going to teach you how to do door knocking. And then on Sunday, we're going to teach you more marketing and sales. And then Sunday night afternoon, we will teach you how to do, I'm lost my brain, permanent lighting. So I go in depth in this stuff because I geek out on this stuff. I love this stuff. This is what grows your business. The things that grows your business is this right here. You know, the people that geek out about this stuff, the bulb, the clips, the wire, we don't show the wire and all these other crap, guess what? They're the ones that are struggling. The people that geek out about this here is and get your phone to ring and how to answer the phone better and what to do if you don't answer the phone. That's what it is. So that's why it's so important that you make sure that you get in there, and that's what I teach this stuff, right? I teach this and I geek out about it. And here's the thing. When you come to this class next weekend, there's a lot of people in this room that you want to be sitting next to. You know, I know my friend, I've got several friends already signed up for this class. I've got David Hamill. He does over $2 million in business. Imagine sitting in a room with someone that does over $2 million in business, right? That's pretty freaking awesome. Daniel, he did 179,000 his first year. He did over 500,000 this year. In 2026 or 2025, 26, he will do over $1 million, right? Because that's the goal. And when you sit in rooms with people like that, you know, yes, it's great on the learning and the networking, but you know where the real gold is? And I'm going to tell you a secret, because this is a secret that I learned, and I want to tell you a secret. The secret is, yeah, you're going to learn a lot in class, but I promise you, you will make better things in the networking. When we go out to dinner and we sit at the dinner table and we sit there for 3-4 hours, and most people leave because they don't see the value in it, that is where the value is. You know, this week at Social Media Marketing World, I didn't make, the last day, I didn't make 3 or 4 of the classes. You know why? I got to sit next to people that are making $5 million a year, that are making $10 million a year. And you know what? Even if I'm just a fly on the wall, I will learn way more there than I ever will in any class at the end of the day, right? And so when you can go out to eat with these people, and if you don't, that's just, you know, and Paul's in here, and he's one that kind of taught me this, right? He's been to 3 or 4 of my classes, and he likes to come, and I like for him to come because he talks into people's lives. Every time he's came, I've got to watch him use his gift in the teaching people of talking into their life, right? 18, 19, 25-year-olds, and they go out there and crush it. And so that's the importance of what you get. You know, the one class we had, we were out till like 9, 10 o'clock. There was a homeless dude walking around, and, you know, he walked one way, and about an hour later, he came back the other way. And so these are things that you get when you come to these in-person trainings. That's the most important part. You know, yes, the training is good. Yeah, you're going to learn a lot. Yeah, you're going to take action. Yes, you're going to learn systems. You're going to learn how to install them fast. You're going to learn how to do marketing. You're going to learn how to do cool stuff with AI, because I geek out about it. I love it. I want you to know how to do it so you can do it. You know, when I've got a guy that literally tells me he sucks at doing stuff, right? He sucks at the computer stuff, but yet he is one that he's 55 years old. He did almost $500,000 in a pressure washing and gutter cleaning business. He's trying to grow his Christmas light business, but he's on the struggle bus. But he did $500,000. You know, when he first came into my mentorship and my membership, he was doing $150,000. I taught him two things, and it changed his life. One, I taught him to raise his prices, and two, I taught him to use yard signs the right way. And when he did, that's what blew him up. He went from $150,000 to doing over $500,000 a year. And so that's the goal. And you know what? He comes to one of my classes once a year. He's been to 2 or 3 of my Christmas light classes, and he comes every year. You know what? He will tell you he learns something new every time he comes. And so that is the important part of what you need to do. You need to change your mindset and what you're thinking, right? A lot of people don't want to invest in themselves. The best investment is not your business, is in yourself, right? I guarantee you, Paul Gardner has paid a crap ton of money to invest in himself. He's probably hitting $500,000 to $1 million that he's invested in himself. But you know what? That's how he's grown. That's how he's gotten to where he is. And so that's the important part. You can't take that away from me. I could lose my business. I guarantee you he could lose his business tomorrow, and he would be able to start it back up and probably do 10 times better the next day, because he knows and he's invested in himself. Right? And so that was awesome. We stood in the parking lot for 2 hours. That was after we closed the Mexican restaurant down. That was 2 hours after the Mexican restaurant closed down, right? And so that's the power of going to these classes, learning, growing, understanding, building those relationships. People call him, other people call him, everybody calls each other, and that is the awesome part about doing our business and with that. All right. I know I went long-winded. Sorry about that, but my first time watching you live, I know you say concentrate on one thing, but do you think about adding snow removal with Christmas lights and pressure washing? I mean, you can, but again, you're not focusing on one thing. You know, I had a realization this weekend at Social Media Marketing World. One of the guys there his name is Voorhees. I don't know what his name is, but he teaches people how to start and grow billionaire businesses. Like, he's helped many $10 to $100 million businesses, lots of them. And so one of the things he put out there is, he said, you can go find anybody that is very successful and they focused on one thing very well. They didn't get into everything, and then they blew up. And then once you blow up, then you can diverse, right? And I would agree with that 100%. I did a podcast not too long ago talking about Daniel. Why has Daniel been able to do $179,000 his first year and $600,000 his second year? I'll tell you why. Because he focuses on that. And as I say, what you water grows. If you try to water 50 things, you're going to have 50 dead things. But if you put all that water in one spot and you keep watering that sucker and watering that sucker, and the sun comes out and you keep watering it, and in the summertime when it's dry, you keep watering it, it's going to grow like crazy. It will grow 100 times more than if you try to water everything with your little pot that you have, because you're only going to be able to do so much. And so that's what I would tell you. Because here's the thing. If you're not busy in the wintertime, guess what? There's other things to do that you can be working on your business. Are you calling those customers and getting them signed up for next year for Christmas lights? Are you calling those businesses to get them signed up for Christmas lights? Are you doing those things over and over and over, right? Daniel right now is going to property managers and talking to them and bidding them and doing all of that stuff there. If he was running up, and he wants to run another business, I've held him back. I'm like, hold on, get this business to $1 million, then we can do other businesses. Because here's the thing. If he wasn't if he was trying to focus on Christmas lights or pressure washing, he's not focusing on Christmas lights. There's no way he will get to $1 million if he starts another business. Why? Because he's focusing on too many things. And that is the problem, right? That is the problem. You focus on too many things and nothing grows. Water what you want to grow. That's so important. Water what you want to grow. I also heard about decorating porches for Halloween, Thanksgiving. Honestly, do permanent lights. We can install them in September, and you can do the temporary permanent lights now. So now we can have them for September for Labor Day. We could put them up in July. Have 4th of July. We could have them for Labor Day. We could have them for Halloween. We can have them for Breast Cancer Month. We can have them for Thanksgiving, and then we can have them for Christmas, right? Because we can change them. Because we can change it all on an app. I don't even know what I did with the one right here, right? We got clips now that we can put them on clips, and they work great. One more question. Have you ever put up lights for Halloween with orange lights? Yes, but I would do it this way because this is a lot easier. It's a switch of an app, and I can make it happen. When you say the guy that saw that commercial job already had Christmas lights installed, he knocked on their doors and did he do? Or that? What did he do? Did he take the client from the other business? No, he does not undercut people. He's more expensive than anybody else in the area. And he's going to be at the class with us. So he did not go, I can do them for less. See, people think that we got to lower our prices and do that. What you don't realize is whoever did it before, they probably suck. They don't answer their phone. If they have a problem, they don't fix it. Those things make you suck. They don't get them taken down. These are the things that make them suck. It's not about going cheaper. See, we got to get out of that mindset of cheaper. And the good thing about Odin, here's the thing. Odin, you're never too young or you're never too old, right? I got guys that are in their 60s that are being successful, and Odin is coming to this class next weekend. He's only 16. He's got to skip high school. Right? I love it. I got another kid that skipped high school last year and come to these classes. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. This was what these people can have a mindset of they're too young, they're too old, whatever it is. That's all in your own mindset. I really want to start. Then start. ChristmasLights.io in-person training. She was grumpy. Yard signs don't work. Jason, I have one question. I just did an SMS blast today to a customer list of 300 people. Got 2 calls so far and closed 2 jobs for $1,300. How often should I send messages? What's the strategy? Don't overdo it. And I would break up that list a little bit. Don't do them all at one time because sometimes you get too many phone calls coming at one time. Don't overdo it. I mean, I would probably do it and be a little bit more conversational, right? Don't be like, oh, why you got Christmas? No, be a little bit more conversational if you can. So that's some tips and tricks for that. I wouldn't do it more than once every 2 or 3 months. $20 2 meals. You realize it's $20-$25. I know it's one meal for $20. Perplexity to scout target neighborhoods. VP to answer phone. Chat GPT graphic. Put lights on house for quotes. Here's another young kid, right, from Colorado. Another awesome young kid. I love helping the young kids. That's what I love helping out. I love it. I love them when they're excited. You know, if you haven't followed Angelo, you'll see him posting all the time of him installing. I'm excited to ramp up my business this year. I'm at 130 jobs. Do you think don't shoot for 300 jobs. Shoot for a higher number, right? Because I can get you 300 jobs that are paying you $500 a piece. Who cares? You're not making no money. What if you got the same amount of money and did half the work? That's what's more important. It's not about hitting 300 jobs because that's 200 or 170 jobs that you're more likely to fall off the roof. What if you did 130 jobs and made the same amount of money that you're going to do 300 jobs? Because my next question is what is your average ticket for those 130 jobs? That would be my first question to you. What is your average ticket for those 130 jobs? If you're not $2,000, you need to raise your prices because it isn't about doing 300 jobs. 300 jobs is not the goal. That's a lot of work for a lot of headache. That's not the goal. That's why I teach $8 to $12 a foot. I don't want to do a lot of work. I want you to do less work. Do you have a recommendation for a soft wash hose? The 5/8. Send me information. I posted it here, christmaslights.io/Cincy25. That was awesome. He stood in the parking lot for 2 hours. Where is it located at? It's located in Cincinnati. Actually, it's not Cincinnati. It's actually it's at one of my buddies' place, Dreamy's Christmas Lights. He does $1 million in Christmas lights. He also does an ice cream business, and it's right next to the airport. Like, it's a short Uber to the airport. There's a lot of places that you can stay. It's really close to the airport. It's within 10 minutes of the airport. This is my second year of Christmas lights. I'm at 130 jobs. I want to dream big this year and get to 300. Yes, but my wife would leave me. Paul Gardner, he's a cool person. He is a cool person. Jason is on fire tonight. What if my focus is marketing and I have the manpower? And well, that's awesome. That's the whole point of it. Because you got to get the phone to ring is the most important part. Got it. I will be starting in Virginia Beach this year. Indeed. He was a patriot. Thank you so much. What's the key to yard signs? Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Kiss that bad boy, right? Christmas Light Pro installers, big phone number. Simple. We're not putting no logo. We're not putting all this other crap on it. We keep it simple. They make lots of money. I like the red and white. Looks Christmassy. DJ kind of did the Christmassy look with the writing. So that's what we're talking about. Keep it simple. We don't put all of this other crap on the yard signs. Wow, Jason, advice. Awesome. This is going to be so much fun. It is going to be fun. Changing your mindset will get you to the next step and the next level. Absolutely, 100%. Thanks for the shout out. So how did he do commercial jobs in? Sorry, I'm missing something. You just go ask. You go say, hey, who did your Christmas lights? Do you want me to give you a quote? We can do better. Daniel, can't wait to join y'all on April the 11th in Cincinnati. Excited to learn and grow. The minute you think you know it all, you are done. You are done, 100% done. So I agree 100%. To answer the question, my average ticket is who cares? The price was recommended to me by my brother-in-law who does lights, but after watching your content, I know he's who cares? Let's do the math. Okay, let's do real easy math. Let's say your average house is 100 feet long. So your average ticket is between $2 and $3 a foot. First off, you don't know what your average ticket is. That's a problem. So let's just go $2 because that's easier. $200. So you're going to do 200 jobs. So you did 100 homes for $200. There's no way in hell I'm climbing on a house like this worrying about breaking my head for that, right? And so let's do this. Let's say that you got $8 a foot. Now we're at $800. Let's do 100 homes at $800, right? See how the math a lot better and a lot quicker. See, this is the problem when you don't go to training and learn from people and be sitting in the room with people that will show you how this is done. Because in this room that's coming up, there's a lot of people already doing it that will show you how to grow this business. And that's the whole point of this. This isn't just me spouting out information. This is people actually doing the work, and that's the whole point of it. How do you get the lights around the windows? Is there a special clip? No, there is not. And here's the thing. I do not like doing windows. Windows suck. There is a special clip that you can use. I don't know if I have it in here or not. There is a special clip that you can use, but don't do it. I don't recommend it at all. You can use a clip like this right here. Basically, this, you pull the sticker off, and then you put this on the vinyl part of the window, and then your bulb sticks through there, and that is one way to do it. I don't recommend it. It's a pain in the butt. It's not worth the hassle. You can, yes, I do have this picture up here, but here's the deal with this picture here. This picture here took him 2 days to do this job, like a day and a half to do this job, to glue them all up here. And the house that is right next door to this house here, he did it in like an hour to 2 hours, right? Very quickly. And then we had to go back to this house here, and fix all where the windows started falling down. The glue started coming off here, off this top window. The glue was off of this window here, and all these lights were falling off. So then he had to go back and spend another 2 to 3 hours to glue them all back up on there. So I don't recommend glue. Glue is dumb, in my opinion. Best yard sign design. Lots of color, at least 3 phone numbers. Jason, can you please remember me your next Christmas light class? If marketing class was good, your class can help me too. Rental. Yes, 100%. You know, here's the thing. Rental was one that came to San Diego with me, and I got to meet him. This is the first time I got to meet him. Here's the thing. He's been in my membership for about 2 or 3 years now, for a long time. And he comes, and he don't even do pressure washing. He wants to start a pressure washing business. He don't even do pressure washing. But he stays into the membership because we don't just talk about pressure washing, right? On our Monday night calls, we talk about growing business, and I've helped him double his pricing in his maid service business. And now he's got 3 or 4 crews going. And then he came to this class this weekend with me. He signed up for San Diego too, for social media marketing world. I met him on Sunday. There's so many people I didn't see him until almost the end of the class. And the difference I seen in him from Sunday till Tuesday was freaking amazing. Because Sunday, he was kind of like, I'm in the wrong place. To Tuesday, he had the biggest smile on his face, and he's like, I bought 2 tickets for next year. He already bought his tickets for next year. And so that's the power of when you go to these things and you get around people, and it's just exciting to see what you can do. Still a little cold here in Northeast PA. When does it usually start picking up? I mean, phone calls ringing nonstop in Ohio. No, it is not. I put out around 300 yard signs. Tired of getting a competitor stealing them. Got 3 calls, updated website. So usually the phone isn't ringing yet. This weather is raining. It's stupid. It's bad storms. I've only seen 1 or 2 people mow their grass yet. You got to see them mowing that grass over and over and over, and that's when it's time. You know it's time that the phone is ringing. You can use a C-clip around the window. Not done a 1 window job yet. Been asked times, not worth the hassle, right? Here's a guy that did over $500,000 and did 0 windows. I did over $500,000 way back when, and I did 0 windows. Why? Because windows suck. There's no reason. I can make a lot more money doing other things. I agree. Seems like a plan to stick to it. Jason Guyman, my competition is watching. That is why I'm giving good advice on yard signs. He's coming after you. He's coming after you with that Scottish accent, and he's going to take over your Christmas light business, the Elf Pro. For example, in the house behind you, how many different zones would that have for the circuit breaker? This is all in one circuit breaker. New LED lights. This here is probably about 8 to 10 amps. They pull 0. This isn't like the old Christmas light days. Also, what percentage would you split if you get the contracts? I want to start, but I don't want to install them. So, I mean, if you can find good installers, here's the thing. Daniel, I was on the phone with him the other day, and he's like, hey, hold on. There's a roofer over here. I'm going to go talk to him. Literally went and talked to him. He gives them $1 a foot, right? $80, 80 cents to put them up and 20 cents to take them down. And that's how he got people to do it. So, and I know other people pay this about the same amount. $1 a foot, 80 cents, $1. 10% is a little high, but that's kind of where you're at. So that's what you can do to be able to make this happen. Obviously, I'm kidding. Jason is right. Simple yard sign is best, and yard signs do work, and just not in Virginia. We love Christmas. I love Christmas lights. Christmas lights are the most fun. So, again, if you want to be in the room of really smart people and learn a lot this weekend, upcoming weekend, this is one class. I'm not doing every class like this where I'm bringing in the door knocker, but door knocking does work across the country. I have a guy in Orlando that killed it in there. I have guys in places that are rare where they're really concentrated that are killing it. So door knocking does work. Got a very long way to go before I can reach Paul. He needs to join us in Cincy. Yep. So with that, hopefully you all have a great week. I know I'm over 10 minutes. I got excited, but Christmas lights make me excited. So other than that, hopefully I get to see you all come up next week. If not, I go live on every Sunday night and Wednesday night. And if you join the membership at christmaslights.io or King of Pressure Wash, every Monday night I do a marketing Zoom call. It's an hour and a half, 2 hours long. We talk about marketing about 10 to 15 minutes. And then it's just networking, building questions, answering questions. A lot of awesome people are in that room. You don't even have to come to this class. You can just go into the membership and meet people like Daniel that show up. Meet people like Tristan. Meet people like David Hamill, right? And I've been teaching a lot of AI stuff, like a lot of AI stuff, because a lot of AI stuff is coming around, whether you like it or not. You can hate it. You can love it. You can hate it all you want. It's coming around. It's taking people's jobs. We're already seeing it taking thousands of people's jobs at these big corporations, all because of AI. Whether you like it or not, that's just the way it is. So with that, hopefully you all have a great week. Again, these storms are coming through across the Midwest. Prepare. Hopefully it's supposed to come in tonight. Supposed to put like 8 to 10 inches of rain down. So be ready for it. Hopefully you all have a great night, and we'll see you all later.